Okay, so what we're going to do today is to create a kind of a hi-hat in a way, at least something that serves a similar purpose when you are creating a beat or an instrumental. So it's in the rhythm section, it's behind all of the other instruments, and it often plays like 16th notes and such. So let's create this sound first and then create the variations without varying the pressure on the pads. Instead, we are going to use the mod paths here to create randomized dynamics to different things inside the Tempest. Okay, so let's first go to the oscillator 1 frequency here, or oscillator 1 shape, sorry, and we will use a pulse. And we will choose 50%. And then we will use a higher note. Maybe G7. And then we will go to the mod path and we will choose noise as our source and we will choose oscillator 1 frequency as our destination. So what we're going to do now is to add some amount here, and you can slowly hear that we are affecting the frequency, spreading the frequencies in all different directions so that it isn't possible to hear one specific frequency because it's like all frequencies at the same time, almost. And that is why we call it noise, because it's not possible to hear the frequencies. You can't hear a specific frequency because you hear all of them at the same time in a way. So yeah, we have a sound here now, a noise sound, and we will use the amp envelope here to shorten it. We will use mod path to create a steeper decay. Amp envelope and amp envelope decay. Let's see. And it's a little bit more percussive because the decay is steeper, so the transient is a little bit shorter in a way. And now we're going to create variations to how steep the decay is. So change the curve ever so slightly with the randomizer. But first I will record a pattern. We'll go to pads here. We will use record and click and roll and fixed level. If you hear now, every time I hit the pad, it sounds almost the same, okay? So what we're going to do is to create variations using the randomizer. Sound, we're in mod paths and mod 3. So I will use the randomizer here and I will use mod 2 amount. We'll change that ever so slightly in a randomized way. Mod 2 amount. So if I put this at, let's say, 10, you will hear that some of the times when I hit the pad, it sounds longer or shorter or snappier or less snappy. So let's play it. So we already have some variation to it now. Let's add a little bit more to the randomizer. sounds more alive in a way. Okay, so what we were going to do now is let's take a look at the oscillator here. Oscillator 1 is a pulse. So what we can do is to go to the mod path here and choose random. And this time we will change the pulse width. Oscillator 1, pulse width. And ever so slightly, like 24. Okay, let's play. Okay, so it's easy to hear that we have some variations here now. Let's maybe... I removed some of the deepest frequencies here. I wanted to cut through the mix, and then I will use the low pass here. So at 121, it's not too much, but it's enough to kind of like shave off some of the upper frequencies. And what we're going to do now is to go to the mod path here and to change how open the low pass filter is. So let's see what we can do here. Low pass filter. Sorry, random. What? Random. Maybe I will open it a little bit more. And a little bit less here. A little bit less. Okay, so we are changing 3 different things in a random way. The amp envelope decay, the curve of that decay is changed by using mod 3 to modulate the amount of mod 2. So mod 4 is changing randomly oscillator 1 pulse width, and mod 5 is randomly changing the low pass filter. So you can do a lot of stuff like this. And it will add some texture, it will add some dynamics, it will make your beats more interesting. And you don't have to hit the pad harder or lighter or anything like that to create those variations. It will kind of do their variations on their own, so it's not for everyone. Personally, I usually use my fingers and use the pressure on the pad to affect the filters and stuff like that. So I could do that by pad pressure, instead of random. But this is a way to do it if you think it's difficult to create variations by using the pad pressure, okay? So yeah, that's one of the ways you can create variations to your hi-hats, make your hi-hat patterns sound more interesting even though they are just playing every 16 notes.